Hello world, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Little Bit Different podcast with your host, Cory Sterling. What's up? I hope wherever you are in the world when you're listening to this, you're doing well. Maybe you're in nature, maybe you're at home, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're with your dog, maybe you're by yourself. Wherever it is, I want to welcome you to the show and just let you know how happy I am to have you here. I'm really excited to share this week's episode. Wanted to share for a while, but it's taken a moment for the ideas to crystallize and really make sense in my mind. And ultimately, the title of the episode is, You're Probably Upset for One of These 5 Reasons. I sort of am recording this as a love letter to myself because I notice that when I am upset or I'm sad or I'm disappointed or something like that is happening in my life, it's usually for one of these 5 reasons. And I'm here in Brazil. I was going for a really long walk with Gringo, my dog, in the park in Jericoacoara National Park. And it just sort of came to me where I was like, oh, I'm feeling sad. I'm like, why is it? And then I just sort of ran through these 5 things and I'm like, oh, it's not this, but it's this. But if it wasn't that, it probably would be this. And essentially, I think I've distilled in my own life disappointment, sadness, and being upset into 5 different categories. So I want to go through each of those 5 categories and sort of talk a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of influence from other materials and sources that I've read. Like a really big one is The 4 Agreements. I don't know if anyone's read that book by Don Miguel Ruiz, but that was a foundational book for me in starting my journey of awareness and consciousness and observation of my thoughts. And so at least one of these 5 is connected to The 4 Agreements, but if you haven't read that book, I totally recommend you read it. The reason why I'm recording this is for a couple of reasons. One, I hope that you find it helpful or beneficial. And, maybe someone's listening to this who's feeling sad or upset or disappointed. And I'm also probably recording this for my future self, that in the future, if there's a moment where I'm going through a difficult period or I'm disappointed with something that's going on in my life, if I can come back to and remember these 5 principles, then I'll be able to cope with it and, have a mindset adjustment required that can help get me back on the positive vibration, man. So saying all of that, let's jump into it. And these are the 5 reasons, one of the 5 reasons that you're probably disappointed, sad, or hurt. Let's go. The first reason is because you probably care too much about what other people think about you. You probably care too much about what other people think of you. And this is something that I have so many friends I have so many friends all over the world, and we're always talking and having phone calls and changing messages and being in communication. And I'm trying to support them and understand what they're going through, and they're doing the same with me. And I would say probably 33% of the time that someone is upset or disappointed or frustrated, it has to do with how they're seen, how they're perceived, how others see them, or what others think of what they're doing. And the whole point of all of these is there's no cure for this, right? I don't have a cure to say, oh, well, you've been caring too much about what other people think. Just don't care about what other people think. And so basically all I can tell you is just as best as possible, don't care what other people think about you. And I think the reason why this is so difficult is because for so much of our lives and our upbringing, most of us are raised to care about how others look at us and what other people think about us. And will I make a good impression? Will people like me? Will they be impressed by what I'm doing? All of these external sort of things. And I think the remedy for this particular thought or habit of thought that people have, I think the remedy for this is to turn inwards. And I haven't thought out all of the remedies, and it's going to be super cliche if the answer to all of them is to turn inward. So I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen, and that's not the case. But really, if there's such a fine distinction, and I'll only speak from my own experience, that everything changed for me in my life when I stopped caring what other people thought about what I was doing. And this happened when I was, I made some very, very drastic decisions. Most recently, starting an online law firm in 2017 to work with yoga professionals. Like, just put all of those things in context at the particular time. And in 2017, having an only online law firm to work with yoga professionals, like, everybody thought that I was nuts. But I didn't really care because it made so much sense to me. And also it's because it's what I wanted to do. And I worked quite hard to develop a personal mission. And when I knew that building an online law firm that would allow me to travel the world and work with heart-leading entrepreneurs and work with yoga professionals, that was super aligned with the sort of lifestyle I wanted to have and the person I wanted to be and the professional impact that I wanted to make, it was really, really easy to go for it. And I'm sure I've mentioned many times on the podcast, but the division in my life was when I was doing things that I was supposed to do for other people, or that I was doing to try to impress other people, or that other people would be impressed by, or that my parents would be proud of me for. And I switched all of that around and was like, no, what do I want to do for myself? What do I care about doing? And it was never about money. It was never about power. It was never about revenge. It was never about anything. In the most simplistic, basic sense, it was about being clear on my personal mission and realizing that what I was creating was aligned with my personal mission. And once I had that piece in place, it became really, really easy to not care about what other people think. Another facet of my life where I used to care what other people would think is about being single. And I've recorded a whole episode, a podcast episode, about what it's like to be 38 years old and single. Hello, world. This is Cory from A Little Bit Different Podcast. I'm going to tell you a statistic now. You're not going to believe it. Only 22% of people who listen to the Little Bit Different Podcast actually subscribe or like the channel. So right now, I'm on a mission to get 250 subscribers to the channel by the end of the year. Will you help me? I'm hoping that the answer is yes. So please, anytime you watch any of our content, subscribe, hit subscribe, that whole button there, and like it and share it and keep being different and having the most fun ever. And with being single, holy smokes, like, a lot of people have a lot of opinions on what it looks like and what it should look like and what's wrong with me and how all of the decisions I make are like this. But I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. And I've spent almost all of my friends are married or in relationships, and God bless them. And the thing that I'm clear about is that, okay, I know that I need to make decisions that are going to be in alignment with me and that feel good for myself, and that they're going to make decisions that work for them. And I'll just say it. I have a lot of friends who are in relationships who are completely miserable and do not like their lives. And for me, it's not even about them. The first step is like checking in. Am I proud of what I'm doing? Am I working towards the person I want to be? Am I having fun with the lifestyle that I have? The answer is yes. Okay, everyone else is doing something different than me, but I don't really care what they think. For many years I did, if I'm being completely honest. I thought, maybe there's something wrong with me. Why can't I conform? Why can't I find someone? And what I've learned in this particular facet is just, like, I'm good. I'm good. I know what I like. I don't care what any opinion anyone else has about my life or my lifestyle or my decisions, because I'm clear on what I want to create and I'm creating it. And so lifestyle as well. For me, there's so many different reasons, but I just want to share that it's not been uncommon in my life that I've made certain decisions that if I cared what other people thought about me, I never would have made those decisions. Like living a nomadic lifestyle, like being single until I'm 38, like working with yoga professionals and other health and wellness entrepreneurs, like whatever it is, doing all of the things that I do that make me different. And what I just want to share with all of you is, when I get sad or I get disappointed, usually it's because I'm thinking like, oh, what is this person going to think about this? Or what is this person going to think about that? Or how do others see me? And then I just like turn it around and I'm like, no, I have to be in alignment with what I want to create and what works for me. And the greatest, best things in my life are all the things that I did for myself, because I knew that's the life that I wanted to live. And so the reason why I share this first point about not caring what others think about me is because this was the key to living the life of my dreams. And so anytime that I'm upset or sad or disappointed, usually it's because I'm focused too much in this area. The number two reason why I get upset or I get sad or I get frustrated is because I am looking at what other people are doing. And then I'm comparing myself to other people. And this is just poison. This is poison. There's never anything good that comes from it. Jordan Peterson, in his book, 12 Habits, says, compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. And that's something that I always try to remind myself of. And I think what happens in life as we set goals and we achieve goals, it's very, very, very easy to forget where we started. And it's so easy to disregard the progress that we've made in our lives and instead focus on what we don't have, or worse, what someone else does have. And I had this happen to me recently. I was hanging, and the overlying principle for this always is we have no idea what is going on in other people's lives, and it also doesn't really matter. Our job is to support other people, to show up for other people, to love other people. That's what we do. Our job is not to look at external variables in other people's lives and then make assessments about ourselves as a result of that. And I was recently on a trip with some friends in Brazil, and I was hanging out with one of my buddies, and he has bought so much land over the past 3 years. And I had an opportunity to buy land with him a couple of years ago. I didn't take the opportunity because my financial goals and my financial plan was different, that I was in very clear alignment with of what I wanted to do. But I was just like, I was shocked at how much land he had bought and how well he was doing with it. And I went to, was like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me? Am I not doing enough? Am I not good enough? You know, is he better than me? How have I let so much time pass without doing this? All these sort of thoughts start running through my head. And as you can imagine, they didn't feel great. But then I was able to like recalibrate and just come back to my own life and be like, hey, you know, in 2023, did I achieve the goals that I set out for myself? Yeah, I did. For 2024, am I on pace for the goals that I set out for myself? Yeah, I'm on pace for my goals. And, you know, am I proud with how I'm doing? Am I comfortable? Am I able to live a life in abundance and give to charity and support a team and hire new people and do all of these things? And the answer is like, yes, 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 yes. And it just caught me. It was like, oh, I'm just looking at the wrong thing. In addition to this, like, I don't know what else is going on in my friend's life. And it also, again, it doesn't even matter. It's not about that. But I don't know what this person has sacrificed. You know, maybe they've achieved all of these things, but in getting there, you know, and I know some of these things like no work-life balance, not enjoying life, not being happy, not healthy, not physically healthy, not mentally healthy, and all those sorts of things. But it was just such a clear reminder for me that it doesn't benefit anyone at any time to compare themselves to other people. And that's why I'm such an advocate for two things. I'm an advocate for two things. One thing is I'm really an advocate for making a list of my self-image and reviewing my goals every single day. So every day when I'm stretching or when I'm in my morning routine, I'll look at my monthly financial goals, I'll look at my annual goals, I'll look at my beliefs, and I'll look at my self-image. And this is just a way to remind myself who I am and the person who I am becoming. And it's so deeply embedded in me that I really, for the most part, other than, you know, that small slip of with my friend, but like hats off to my friend. I'm so super proud of him, like totally 100%. It's incredible what he's been able to do. But other than that, it doesn't happen that often where I feel that way, but I did feel that way. And the two ways that I do it, one is like reading my list every morning of like, what are my financial goals for this month? What are my financial goals for the year? What are my beliefs? What is my self-image? And anytime I do that, it's impossible to maintain that practice and focus and compare myself to other people because I'm just so dialed in on what are my goals? What am I working towards? The other thing is to really remember where you started. And I think it's so, like I said, it's so easy to forget because the nature of desire is that we want something new, we try to get it. The second we get it, we're automatically thinking, what's the next thing? That's how it always works with desires. And so just even before recording this, I was reflecting on my financial situation and I was like, wow, this is crazy because of where I used to be. Like my first 3 years of business, I didn't save any money. I was just able to keep my head afloat. I was supporting myself. My accounting was a mess. I didn't have systems. I didn't have processes. I didn't have anything. And then I was just like, today I was just going through my banking. I'm like, oh, this is automatic and so easy. And I know exactly what I'm doing with all of my money. So that's something that's really, really important. Not comparing ourselves to others and again, the antidote for that is to focus on ourselves and be clear on who we are, the person we're becoming, what we're working towards. Number three, the number three reason why you're likely sad or upset or disappointed is because something is going on and you are taking it personally. This is directly from the Four Agreements, the book that I referenced at the start. Again, go ahead and read that book. That book changed my life. But taking it personally means that something is going on in your life and you think that it's about you. So someone's not responding to something, you're not getting enough attention, you're not able to close a sale, your friends are doing something without you, whatever it is happening. And you think, oh my God, it's because of me. There's something about me. This whole thing is about me. And I have one, and so as a general rule, anytime I catch myself in a situation where I'm upset or disappointed or frustrated about something, I'll ask myself, I'm like, Cory, are you taking this personally? Cory, are you making this story about yourself? And is it really about yourself? Like, is it true, right? The work, is it true? And I just want to share one story because this story floored me and really changed my entire perspective on taking things personally. So I was going through a situation where I was working with a friend. We were working on a common project. And I was super excited about it, and we had so much momentum, and we both invested a lot of time and work on it. And then my friend just ghosted me. Totally ghosted me. And I was like, okay, like maybe 5 days went by. I was like, hey bro, like, are you still around? Are we doing this? Nothing. 2 weeks go by, nothing. And then I just made it all about me. And I was like, fuck, Cory, like, maybe this is the problem, or maybe you should have offered to pay him even though he's just helping you out, or maybe you should have done this, and did I call too much, and this, whatever, just like everything in my mind about me. And then I just let it go. I just sent a message to my friend. I was like, love you, will always love you, check in with me whenever you're good. If I did something to bother you, I'm really, really sorry. But for a very long period there, I really made it about me. And I really, really took it personally. And then I got a very, very sad voice note from this friend who was going through a lot of personal challenges. Unimaginable personal challenges, extremely difficult personal challenges. And we're just like, hey, Cory, man, dude, I would never want to ghost you. That's not my intention. I love you. You're my brother. This is what's been going on in my life. And I was listening to the message and my jaw was just like, it just kept dropping more and more as the story that my friend was going through was told. And I just listened to the message and I thought, Cory, you're such a stupid piece of shit. Like, how could you make that entire story about yourself when your friend is going through this? Obviously, I didn't know my friend was going through this, but this happens every day. It happens all the time. We never, ever know what other people are going through. And if something's not happening or not working out the way that we want, it's not about you. And I think this definitely plays into relationships when you have a partner, where sometimes you want to try to fix everything and you don't want anyone else to be upset. But like sometimes the truth is, it's just not about you. And it's just everyone has their own shit going on. And sometimes you have to give people space to work through that, and they need patience. I'll just say from a business perspective in sales, so many times, and I'm sure it still will happen because I sometimes I have a tendency to be a little bit impatient just because I'm excited and like I want to do great work, I'm ready to go. And I'll have a conversation with someone and like they're ready to sign up and then they totally disappear. And then I'll like start looking at the emails I sent and I'm like, oh, did I email too many times? Was I too direct? Was it this? Was it that? Or the other? And the exact same thing, they'll get back to me. Hey, Cory, there's been a terrible family crisis. I'm so sorry to have not responded to you. We're going to move forward with this project. We just need another week. And it's just like the same, like my jaw is just down. And I'm like, how could I be so inconsiderate? So anytime you're upset or disappointed or frustrated or something bad's going on, just always ask the question, am I making this about myself? And a lot of the times we are, and a lot of the times it isn't really about you. And I think the sooner that we can let go of that, the sooner we'll find relief and start feeling better. The fourth reason why I get upset or frustrated or angry is because whatever's happening, I'm probably taking it too seriously. And I've learned this with kite surfing many, many times. I've learned it with personal fitness and eating and discipline. And I've learned it with business and team members and projects and proposals. And I've learned it with family, with my sister, with my niece, my nephew, and my parents. And I've learned it with my friends and traveling and trips. And just, it's such a great, and even just as I'm about to say these words, I feel a wave of relief rush over me. And these words are, there's nothing serious going on here. There's nothing serious going on here. It's crazy if you think about how blessed our lives are and how much magic takes place in our lives on a daily basis. And sometimes, whether it's because of our ego or it's because of an emotional attachment or it's because of some form of trigger, we're drawn into a situation and we forget like there's nothing serious really going on here. What's really going on is we're human beings with a capability to love, and we have all of this power and technology and ability and quality of life and opportunity to do anything that we want. And there's just really, really small things that we get really, really aggravated about. And for me, it's just whenever I find myself really caught up in something, really upset, I just straight go to it like, there's nothing serious going on here. Like what's really going on? Is this really serious? And the one piece that's so important for me to share, and I think one of the greatest lessons I've had about running a business for 7 years, coming on 8 years, is that I've been through so many situations, the same situation so many times, where it's like 11 days go by and I don't make a single sale. And I'll just be like, like first couple of days, I'm like, oh yeah, like I got this, no worries. Day 5, I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Why isn't anyone buying? What's blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like, I go through all of these different phases. And any time that I pass through a moment like that, I'm just like, there's nothing serious going on here. Like I get to design the life that I live. I just choose to focus on all of the positive things in my life. And once I make that shift, then, in 2 days, I'll sell more than I sold in the previous, 2 weeks, even before those 11 days. Like, just when I can flip that switch and be like, wait, is there something serious going on here? Like everything's going to be okay. In a worst case scenario, I have to put money on my credit card. And then when I make sales, I'll pay it off. Like I have an amazing team. I'm doing amazing work for my existing clients. Just as one example, but it's incredible. It's such a powerful lesson for me and something that I always come back to, that when I'm frustrated or angry or upset, I'll always just ask myself, like, am I taking this situation too seriously? And because time and time and time again, I love the resiliency of being an entrepreneur. I love the adventure and the fun of creation, of having my own business and being in control of all of it. And because I've been in so many situations where it looked grim, it looked like there was no chance, it looked like it wouldn't happen, and it always worked out. Like when you do that 11 times, you're like, okay, if the same thing happens 11 times, it's going to happen the 12th time. So I might as well just not take any of this seriously and be light about it, be loving about it, have fun with it, and then everything always changes. Now, for the number 5 and the last reason of the 5 options, maybe sometimes it's all 5 of them, sometimes it's just one of them, but things that make me sad, frustrated, upset, or angry is looking at what is. This is Esther Hicks 101, Law of Creation. When you look at what is, and I'm sure I've spoken about what is in the podcast before, but I just want to revisit in this context about disappointment or being upset or anything like that. And just the whole idea of what is or what isness is you're looking at the current situation, and in that moment, you're very frustrated, you're very angry, you're very upset. Like, I want the money in the bank account, the money's not there. I want the lover in my bed, the lover's not there. I want to have this particular outcome, the outcome's not there. And then all of your energy and your focus is in that particular moment on the absence of that thing, of how that thing isn't there. We remember that we're always creating from the present moment. So we're always creating from the now. Right now, this now for me and this now for you. Everything that I'm thinking and feeling and focusing on will be my future creations as my never-ending now is unfolding. When you focus on what is, you just get caught up in all of the frustration and the anger and the disappointment of whatever's going on right now. So this thing isn't working, and all I'm going to do is focus on why isn't this thing working and how can I make this thing work and all of this. The alternative to not focusing on what is, simply put, is focusing on what you want to happen. So I don't know if anyone watches Netflix. There's a show called Receivers. George Kittle is one of the receivers that's featured in the series. And this guy is like, he's a law of attraction manifester, the best. And whenever he's injured, he has mantras that he says like, I inhale health and I exhale pain. And that's a great example of not focusing on what is. Like what is would be like, oh my God, my shoulder's killing me. This is so terrible. I can't do anything. And instead he goes to like, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm free, I'm focused. But in my own life, I found this so many times where I've been frustrated about something. And instead of trying to fix something that I'm frustrated about, I'll probably just choose a whole other topic or another area of my life that is working and that I am focused on in a positive way and just start focusing there. And like, I didn't make this sale. Like, why didn't this person sign up? And when are they going to sign up? And all that sort of stuff. And instead it's like, whoa, my flexibility is really good. I'm going to go stretch and spend some time stretching my body because I'm flexible and I love how I'm flexible. Or anything else. Or if you're having, if you're dealing with a difficult client or a difficult team member, or you're having problems with your partner, like you don't always have to try to fix what is. You can just go create something new. Like, okay, I'm going to go create ease and joy by going for a walk in the park. And then when I come back, that ease and joy will carry over into my relationship. And I've just there are so many things. I have a list on my phone that's called I Am a Deliberate Creator. And there's so many things where it's like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the more you just see that list go, 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 and I never delete anything from that list to remember there were so many times when I didn't have these things and then I created those things. And I think the number one way to be a deliberate creator is not to focus on what is happening, but instead focus on what you want to create. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to click, like, and subscribe to the episode, which is great. But just in summary, I recorded this for you in the event that, if you ever are sad or angry or upset or frustrated, throw this episode on. I hope that some of these words will be soothing for you. But I also did this for myself so that in the future, when I'm upset about something, I'll remember, I'm like, oh yeah, these are the 5 things that I should look at to see, which of these 5, or if maybe all of these 5, can I adjust or fix to feel better? And those were not caring what other people think, not looking at what other people are doing, not taking things personally, taking things too seriously. Number 5 was not looking at what is. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this helps. I take the time to record all of these to share with love and in hope that someone's listening to this and it, takes them from an unsmiley emoji to a smiley emoji for their day. Whatever it is that you do, stay different. God bless. Peace.